Does this sound like what goes on in your head? I am unhappy, unattractive, tired of letting people tell me what to do. And I'm just tired of being tired. Because I'm too old, I'm too young. Okay? I'm too bright, I'm too smart, or I'm not good enough. I'm not bright enough, I'm not smart enough. How many of you have heard this kind of talk going on in your head, or you know somebody? Because you always like to hear about that somebody else, okay? Who has had that talk going on in their head, okay? And then you got this bright idea. You said, I know what I will do. So what I will do, I'll go back to school, I'll attend more classes, I'll go to more conferences, I'll buy new clothes, I'll find a guru. That guru must know what's going on. And then what happens? But what is the outcome? You didn't get the outcome you want. So you say, most likely, I'm not smart enough. Most likely, I'm not good enough. Most likely, I do not know what I want. I'm still unhappy. I'm not getting what I want out of life. And that self-talk continues in your head. How many of you have heard that or know of somebody who thinks that way? Nod your head. Now, just be careful. Don't give yourself whiplash. Just be gentle with yourself, okay? Now, what happens is that what you do is that you keep on talking about but this, and I should have done this, and I shoulda, coulda, would have. Does that sound familiar? Okay? So what I want to do when I'm speaking with you, I want you to feel. Hearing, you hear and you intellectualize. So what I would like you to feel, because this is about the feeling business, is about you. Okay? Now, one of the things is that we talk about, you know, I've done all of this stuff, and it is not working. But why is it not working? What happens is that you are dealing with the symptoms of the problem, what's on the surface, and not what at the core of who you are. So what's the solution? The solution is the re-engineering you. And when I say re-engineering you, what do I mean? I mean dealing with the core obstacles that impact the inner you. Does that sound familiar? Or does that sound like theory? Because many people, when I say they impact the inner you, they say, where's my inner you? I don't know where my inner you is. Okay? So we will talk a little bit about how to find that. Now, I'm also going to talk about there are 3 critical keys that form the foundation for the re-engineering process. And these critical keys are the external environment impact on you, the substance and essence of who you are, based on the attributes you have chosen to define who you are, and your vision for your life. Now, I want to share a little bit about the experience I've had with these 3 keys, because they have facilitated positive changes in my life. It's important when people give you advice is that they have to live it, okay? And it's not that they have to read about it. Now, in case you did not recognize, I am not originally from North America. I'm originally from Trinidad, and I grew up in a family that included doctors, high-ranking officials of government, and attorneys. And I came to the United States to do my MBA and doctorate. Immediately upon arriving in America, I realized that my cultural status had changed. I was now a minority. Quickly, I realized that I was taking cues from other people's impressions and judgments of me. And I was getting uncomfortable in my own skin. That scared me. You know, months after, I am saying, what am I going to do? So I'm saying this environment, the external environment, is impacting on me, who I am, and I'm allowing that to happen. How bright I could be. So I did like what many of us would do, and I looked at external factors such as training. So I trained to death. I read books about how to be successful in America. And what happened? I still felt like a fish out of water. So I thought this sturdy, bright individual, what's going on with her? She may need her head examined. But she didn't need to have her head examined. What she needed was to look internally and see what's happening on the inside. And what was happening on the inside, the essence and substance of who I was being impacted. So quickly I recognized, and that's the what? Second key to re-engineering you. So very quickly I realized that I better get my act together. So I got my act together, got myself in shape, the substance and essence of who I was. And then I realized, okay, there's another third key. I had to reconnect to the vision I had for my life because I was going off course. And that was getting my doctorate and MBA, which I did. Now, there were many learnings from this experience. And then what I did, I developed a process for re-engineering me that set a context and a foundation. And it laid a strong foundation for me to be a very successful international consultant to high-ranking government officials and Fortune 100 executives. I have perfected that process, and that's why we call it re-engineering you. And it continues to work not only for me, but also for my clients, and it can work for you too. So let's start delving more into what is this re-engineering thing about. The re-engineering thing is about not making changes on the surface. You go and you get what? A makeover, you go to the spa, you get a facelift, and then you're still not feeling comfortable in your own skin. I don't want to ask the question, how many of you have gone through this process? A facelift. You just keep it to yourself. You just look really great. So what I did is that now I began, and we're going to delve much more into what? The external environment impact on you. Now, many people say that human beings are like icebergs. 10% you see, and the 90% you don't see. What's interesting, the 10% that you see is what people make impressions of. And we choose to believe it. And we impact who we are. We define ourselves from the judgments and impressions of others. And then we don't feel good about ourselves. And then we sabotage ourselves because when we look in the mirror, we don't like what you see. Well, I have $1 million solution for you about those people who look in the mirror and don't like what they see. I will suggest that you throw the mirror away. And begin to look at what? The substance and essence of who we are, okay? So let me talk a little bit about the external environment impact on you. And I talked about, how people see us as icebergs, as human beings as icebergs. The 10% is what you see. This is how personal impressions are formed and decisions are made about you. And you accept them very readily. Is that true or is that true? Is that true or is that true? Is that true or is that true? I'm not hearing you. Wonderful. It's good to know because when you know now what to do about it, right? You know what's happening. So what is happening is that, okay, so we realize that the 10% we live, many people live in that 10%. The reality of that 10% is that you didn't choose it. That's the way you were born. But what you chose is the substance and essence of who you are. Your education, your values, okay, your relationships. That's what's making you, how you believe in yourself. That's what makes you you. And therefore, what we need to focus on is the 90%, which is the substance and essence of who we are. And that's where we choose the attributes that we want to be part of who we are. And the attributes that we want to be part of who we are is who we truly are, the authentic you. And you have control over it. No one else has it until you give up control. So when we want something goes wrong in our life, what we do, we point a finger. Which one of the fingers should we be looking at? The one that's pointing back to us. Because we have the decision to impact our lives. Now, the essence and substance of who we are, in that contains attributes. Okay? It contains attributes like our values, like persistence, procrastination, good and bad. So we need to look at all the attributes so we can see a complete picture of who we are. Now, if you just look at the good things, what happens? If we look at the good things, we are fooling ourselves, is it? But isn't it really sad when we are our own fool? So therefore, what we have to do is to take a good look at the substance and essence of who we are. Now, who are you? How do we go about determining this? Because what's interesting, our beliefs are in our subconscious mind. And when it is in our subconscious mind, how do we begin to what? Understand what's there. Because it guides 98% of our actions. It influences and drives what we do, what we don't do, what we accomplish, what we don't accomplish. Our subconscious mind is like the storage, and our conscious mind is like the processor. So the concept of what? Garbage in, garbage out holds true. So when you see you're getting garbage out, what it is you're putting in? Garbage. And who is responsible for that garbage? Okay, I want you to feel that. Because I want you to leave here today with things that you could take to do. And not leave here today to say, oh, you know, that was nice. She was interesting. It doesn't do anything for you. Okay? Today you have invested in you. And when you leave here, you should be what? You should be operating more from the essence and substance of who you are. And to hell with that 10%. You can't do much about it. Oh, yeah, we could because of technology, right? We could dye our hair. We could have the false eyelashes and all the other stuff. But even around all that cover-up, the essence and substance of you is key. So therefore, what happens when you begin to look at each other, I want to give you an exercise to do. I want you to look to the person next to you. 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was it easy to form an impression about that person? Did you form an impression about that person? Okay? Most of the times we do. And we hate it when people form impressions of us and judge us based on what they see. We hate it. So why do we do it to other people? Okay? So therefore, what I would like you to do is to begin to test. When you start to speak with people, think about you want to get to the substance and essence of who they are. And the nature of your questions and the nature of your dialogue would change. It wouldn't be, what do you do? it would be, who are you? Okay? It would be, what's important to you? What makes you happy? Those are the kinds, and the quality of your dialogue would change, and the quality of your answers would be different, and you get to know people faster. And people do business with people they know and trust. That's important. Now, how do we determine who we truly are? I will give you a clue. Simple. You make a list of all of your attributes. All of them. Not only the strengths, but what? Your weaknesses, your fears. Because you want to get a picture of the complete you. Then after that, you look at the attributes and you begin to evaluate it. Because you want to know which ones are working for you and which ones are not. Then what you do is that you begin to test them. And you say to yourself, I'm persistent. Is that something good or bad? And then you remember, oh my gosh, you know, one time I was so persistent, I got that guy or I got that girl I was pursuing, or I got that contract, or I got that promotion. So it's a good thing. And the same thing you do with procrastination. Okay? And once you determine that, what do? You begin to say, okay, which ones do I keep because they enhance me? And which ones do I replace? Remember, I did not say get rid of. Okay? Which ones you replace? And what are you going to replace it with must have a positive impact on you. And you go through and you follow those steps. And that is also very, very critical in determining who you are. Now, the third critical key is your life's vision. Now, the reason why I put it third is because based on the changes that you have done in the substance and essence of who you are, that now informs you in terms of the quality and type of vision you develop. Now you're not taking all that garbage with you, and you're able to see much better. Now, what's a vision? A vision is what you desire for your life. It provides you with focus and direction relative to what you would like to achieve. Therefore, it must be expansive. Now, you know, many times you talk about what's expansive. I could walk from there to, I could see over there, that's expansive. But it must be expansive. And I want to give you a sense of what does that look like. This is Chicago and the lakefront. And on the left, you see some really raggedy train tracks, ugly train tracks. But somebody had an expansive vision. Okay, a group of ordinary people. Because many times we think we have to have our PhDs or whatever to have an expansive vision. A group of ordinary people. And 10 years after, this is what it looks like. That's what I expect from you when you're developing your vision. Okay? That's the level of expansiveness. And when you develop your vision, what you need to do, you also need to know the different pieces of it. And then what you do, you put those pieces together and you see you have your complete vision. Are you getting a sense of that expansiveness, what you need to do? Okay. So now what we have done is that we have talked about the 3 key critical areas that you need to look at in setting the foundation for re-engineering you, but also you have to have fuel in your tank so you'll continue to move on. The fuel is the celebration of you, your successes, and your progress. Many times what we do, we forget that. And then I want you to take action. And the action I want you to take, and I want you to make a commitment to taking action, and I see my time is running out, so I won't go through that. I want you to make a commitment to take action, and I invite you to look at the external factors and how they are impacting your life. The next thing, I want you to make a list of attributes and get the ones that you want to be the substance and essence of who you are. Then you develop your vision that's expansive, okay? it must ignite the imagination, of course, okay? And it must share what you want for your life. As Gandhi said, okay, what did Gandhi say? We want the change, be the change you want to see in the world. I believe we need all of us to be the change we want to see in the world. I commend you for being here today, and I hope I have left you with some pearls of wisdom so that you could begin to impact your life in not only in a positive way, but in an unprecedented way, because why? You can. Okay? And I hope you join me on the journey to making change in the world just as the kind of change we want to see. I thank you.